Some delinquent elves have decided they no longer want to work for Santa. They've taken some presents, loaded them in the wagon, and are trying to get off the board. It's up to the adventuring party to stop the shenanigans and capture all the delinquents. Hello, and thank you for clicking the link. Today, James and I did a playtest of a scenario called Loot Santa Sleigh. And in the scenario, a group of workshop elves have decided that they no longer want to work for Santa and have commandeered a sleigh full of presents and are trying to take it off the gaming area. The scenario ends if the elves make it off the board with the special treasure and the elves actually win the scenario. So this is one of those scenarios where you can work together or work against each other, or even do a solo scenario. I haven't tried it for a solo play, but I think I'm going to see how it goes. We do some samples of ranged combat in War in Chrystmas Village and discuss topics like intervening terrain, taking an aim shot, hard cover, things like that. It's pretty cool. I don't feel like I didn't do a really good job with explaining all the details of how combat works, which is pretty standard fare for a skirmish gamer. But if you're new to this, I'd like to try and explain it better for you. Each figure has a melee combat modifier, and some figures have a ranged combat modifier. When an attack is made on an opposing figure, both players roll 2d6, and if the attacker has the higher dice, then the attacker has a chance of hitting. If the defender has the higher dice, then the defender wins and nothing else happens. The snowman does not have any kind of dodge at all. So go ahead and roll, James.
Elf shoots first.
So James rolled a 6, plus 1 is a 7, which is an actual hit on the snowman, because the snowman's armor is a 7. The snowman, however, rolled a 9, so the snowman dodges the attack. And the snowman lives yet another day. If the attacker wins the 2d6 roll with the added combat modifier, then the players check to see if the modified roll is higher than the defender's armor. I think I'm going to change that and call it defense. I come from a skirmish game background, and armor is more common with miniatures, but in this case our miniatures don't really wear a lot of armor, so I think I'm going to call it defense. So if the attacker's roll beats the defender's defense, and those numbers are either a 7, 8, or 9, some things like giants rats have a 6 because they're easier to hit, then the attacker would hit and roll for damage.
This one's going to shoot also.
Okay, so then we have this elf over here who's going to also take a shot, and the closest line of sight would once again be this snow person. So to hit this snow person, James has to roll a modified roll of 7 or higher. So James rolled a 6 plus 1, which would hit, plus they take an aim, which would be an 8. So they hit, and then I get a chance to roll the
they get to take aim also, modifier?
That's what they do, they take aim.
Awesome.
Because they're elves. No other, 7, so what'd you roll, an 8? So James actually would have does hit, so now he rolls damage, rolls a d6. And he rolled, that's on the chart, that is 3 points of damage. When the box game comes out, we'll be having a damage die to roll, but for right now we're using 6. So that actually means that the snow person has been removed from the board by the elves. So
I think the ones killed by those are going to have its own little pile.
There are no kills in War in Chrystmas Village. People get captured. Here's how damage works in War in Chrystmas Village. Anytime a character has been successfully hit, the attacker rolls a damage die. We haven't made a damage die yet, but we plan to with our next Kickstarter. In the meantime, we've been using a 1d6. So on the roll of a 1, the opposing character is knocked prone. On a roll of a 2 or 3, the opposing character suffers 1 hit point of damage. On a roll of a 4 or 5, the opposing character suffers 2 hit points of damage, and a roll of a 6, the character suffers 3 hit points of damage, which is usually what most characters have, is 3 hit points, so it is possible to 1 hit. We're back and we're going to do another combat scenario for you. The wagon that has been commandeered by the delinquent elves with the stolen presents has moved, and as a result this elf now has can see right here at this snowman that was hiding behind Mrs. Claus's cottage. We do a true line of sight, which means if the mini can see, that is considered it has line of sight. However, the snow person is behind the cottage and the elf doesn't have, can't see the entire thing. So the snow person in this case, right here, has what's called hard cover, which gives them a +3 to their dodge. So there's a slight chance the elf can hit.
The elf goes first?
Okay, so we're going to roll the elf first. The elf has a +1 because they can't take aim, they move. So the elf gets a roll of an 8, which is a hit. But James has a chance to dodge it. James rolls a 7 +3 is 10. So the shot hits the corner of the building instead of the snow.
Took out a shingle.
So there's an example of ranged combat with hard cover.
This is gonna move 4 inches. She activated the gingerbread man.
So James and I just rolled a random monster, and we rolled the Treant, which is going to really mess up the game in a kind of fun, crazy way, because the Treant is going to drop presents. So I hope you've enjoyed this playtest video that we did. When we get the rules more ironed out, and they are currently at an editor right now, I will have them uploaded and ready to go for download. Print and play, I think I'm also going to include some graphic characters that you can print out and make 2D cardboard, the little 2D cardboard miniatures. So that way, if you don't have our miniature line, you can still enjoy the game and play it. Keep in mind, these are beta rules, so things are going to change more than likely. Every time we play test, we change something up a little bit. And that's why I'm hoping that you all will download this and tell us what we need to fix. Or what you really like. Tell us, it'd be really great if you could tell us one good thing and one bad thing that you liked and didn't like about our rules.